So this wasn't the first vid I was planning on doing tonight, but when this was recommended to me, Labour brings back EV handouts. EV hangouts. Well, I suppose when I think about it, and it's about £700 million, and I mean, the guy, whoever this guy is, I mean, he points out some things, and he's probably a channel worth subscribing to. But like many, while they point out certain obvious aspects, they don't. I don't know whether it's that they are unaware of things like the rollout of Agenda 21, or they're like, deliberately going out their way to navigate telling people that's the rollout of Agenda 21. Because let's be honest, I get it. If you're mentioning things like that on a regular basis, your channel's not going to grow. And I think maybe there's a lot of Masons out there, for example, who, well, they're not entirely happy about what's going on out there, especially when many Masons are starting to suffer. I mean, remember, when you think about the introduction of AI, the corporatization of so many things, the diminishment by the day of independent shops. But, for most of the public, they don't see why. They don't see the connections, how it ties into that bigger picture. I mean, for example, when it comes to EVs, what would be nice, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe he has mentioned it in a vid in the past. I confess I haven't watched all these vids. In fact, you can see that. But what he should be saying is, look, hello people, they can quite literally send out a code over, whatever we're talking about tower-wise now, 5G, whatever, a signal, and it'll just, no jokes. I mean, people have become way too comfortable with a connection to something in order for something else to run, yeah. And let's not forget that, look, they are basically what we see, what we have at the moment, and I would argue it's not. They have no plan to change it, really. It's glorified laptop batteries strapped together. Really, essentially, that's what they are. And I was astounded when EV started to become a thing. And don't get me wrong, they tried that technology way over a century ago, and preferred combustion engines simply because EVs are great for instant torque, low speed applications. Heavy lifting or moving of heavy things at a slow speed. Phenomenal. That's what they're good for. That's it. And people could say, but look, they've got the fastest 0 to 60, so blah, blah, blah. It's still not an efficient way for momentum. It's not. I mean, really, it shouldn't be rocket science. When you're literally having to carry around hundreds of kilos of batteries that will diminish over time rapidly, far heavier than most combustion engine cars or vehicles. Yeah. And when it comes to towing anything, well, they're just pathetic. Seriously. Because at low speed, high torque, fine. But at higher speed, more weight, inefficiency. I mean, honestly, that's what diesels are absolutely phenomenal for. Great amounts of torque, phenomenal amounts of torque, very efficient, blah, blah, blah. And the rest is just down to particular X, Y, and Z filters, of which have done wonders over the last few decades. Why would you not carry down that line? This is absolutely about control. And look at the resale values for good reasons. And how many people have bought? I mean, many tragically popular YouTubers, in some instances, who bleat, for example, about their Porsche constantly. Yeah, their Taycan. I'm not mentioning names, but and I suspect, to a great extent, that they hope that to shame Porsche into handing them back lots of money, which no, I don't see it happening. But the resale values are horrible because, in no small way, down to the fact that they're no cheaper to service. Oh, they've got to check all these battery banks and all the rest of it, which takes up time. So you're no cheaper with your servicing. In no way are you. And you're going through tyres at the rate of knots because the vehicles, by and large, are a lot heavier. None of this should be rocket science, like. None of it. Yeah. But I'll leave you a link to that video. And
which drive value.
This link. And before I go, even I looked all over, for example, the Daily Mails. Remember, still a very popular online publication for some reason. But there's not a word of it there. Not at the moment. That might change in minutes, of course. But yeah. Anyway, your thoughts, and I'll speak to you soon.